Namaskar and very good afternoon to everyone. Uh, on behalf of HM Patel Institute of English Training and Research and the IQAC of HMPIETR, all who are present over here are warmly welcomed. Before we start this expert lecture series, expert sessions, uh, let us pray God, let us pray He gives us so that our whole program up to 19th can be a very successful event. I request all of you to close your eyes and take a deep breath and listen and sing along me if you know this sloka along with me. Om Sharada Sharadam Bhujavadana Vadanam Bhuje Sarvada Sarvadasmakam Sannidhim Kriya Shuklam Brahma Vicharasara Paramam Adyam Jagadvyapinim Veena Pustakadharinim Abhayadam Chatyandkarapaham Haste Sphatikamalikam Vidadatim Padmasane Sansthitam Vande Tvam Parameshwarim Bhagavatim Buddhi Pradam Sharadam Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So dear friends, in this online gathering today, we have the attendees from several colleges, the students of HM Patel Institute of English Training and Research, the students of Language Teaching Institution Rajkot, Institute of Language Teaching. We have some students from AG Teachers College, some other colleges also. In total, we have more than 75 attendees right now. So, welcome all. We have our honorable principal amongst us, but he's having some network issues. So on his behalf, I request the principal in charge, Dr. Mayur Bhai Parmar sir, to welcome the guests. Parmar sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Mohammed sir. Sir, we have total 84 candidates so far. 84 trainees, professors, and other invited guests are there. Anand is the capital of surrogacy. All right, Dr. Naina Patel has given this huge, we can say, it's an honor to, and I am today in front of you as a surrogate introducer, as a surrogate welcomer, because Dr. Bose, the principal sir, is facing some network issues. I won't take much time. Barot sir, friends, my colleagues, future teachers of English, expert Sneha Ben Bajaj, and all the other attendees, on behalf of HM Patel Institute IQAC Cell, I welcome you to this lecture series. I am sure you all will be benefited a lot by attending this. I won't be a hurdle between Sneha madam and you guys. I request Sneha madam to please proceed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayur sir. Now, before the expert begins her session, I request the coordinator of IQAC of HMPIETR, Dr. Dodia sir, to introduce the guest and invite her for her session.
Thank you so much, Mona sir. This session, let me introduce first these expert sessions in ELT. Actually, I feel extreme pleasure and happiness to introduce this series of expert sessions in ELT, that is English language teaching, that you all know. I would like to mention the mission of H.M. Patel Institute of English here. And it is like that. It is to provide value-added, globally relevant teacher education with an emphasis on the techno-management domain, as we endeavor to enable our learners to cope with new challenges in the global context. Following this mission, the Institute has been organizing various training programs and teaching programs for many years. The aim of this program is to educate the trainees with the knowledge, practical skills and attitudes much required for the teachers of English. And this will provide relevant and up-to-date knowledge, training and prerequisite skills in order to cope with the challenges of this century. This series will include around 14 expert sessions on different topics of pedagogy of English L1 and L2, which are also the important subject papers in our B.Ed syllabus of this semester. The topics are including the history of ELT and major concepts and theories of teaching English, which are included in these expert sessions series. And it will going to benefit you all in one or another way as a part of B.Ed training as well as in teaching career also. At last, I welcome all the participants from various colleges and institutes for showing their interest in this program. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dodia. And now, without much delay, I would like to, if Neeraj sir is present over here, I would like to invite him to share a few words as he is a special guest today. Jiten sir, is he present?
No, sir. Sir hasn't yet been able to join. I think he's on the way. That's why he's facing some network issues. So we may. Like,
Okay, so
with our
on his behalf, can you share some views as he is not being able to be connected? So the way Mayur sir played his role is yes.
Definitely, sir. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, first of all. And it was a like need of an hour for these sessions. Like before vacation, both sir had promised us that he would because ELT and these two papers L1 and L2 students are facing, even faculties are facing many issues for locating proper material and books, and even in this pandemic we are not able to go to bookstores or libraries. So the things had been discussed with Bose sir, and Bose sir has very zealously shouldered the responsibility that definitely we'll do something once the vacation gets over. And so we all know that, and I'm very much thankful to Bose sir and the team of H.M. Patel. And it has really been going through the brochure and looking at the experts, it's really going to be very fruitful sessions for students as well as us. Like we are also going to learn many things, and I believe that whether students can get it or not, but they are very lucky to have such a arrangement, like having all these great minds on single platform for workshop. It's really a very commendable and very, I would say, industrious effort put forth by you people. So we are very much thankful once again to the team of H.M. Patel and particularly Dr. N.V. Bose sir. And students are you people, let me, as Dodia sir has already told, but let me just again brief what is the agenda of this particular workshop, students. It is particularly for your L1 and L2 papers like English language teaching, and many of the concepts and topics would get covered, and you would have a broad insight into the topics. Like already your faculties like we people and HM Patel people have taught you the things, many of the topics, but still if at all we have missed somewhere, or we have been misinterpreted, or we have misinterpreted the topics, then this workshop is going to correct it, and it's going to definitely expand your horizons of ELT. So it's not just a workshop which you have attended in this pandemic. There are so many workshops have been going on everywhere, but this is not so. It's really very important and fruitful for your exams of semester 2. That's a very like narrow-minded goal, but it's on the whole it is going to be helpful no for you as an English teacher. So yes, once again thank you, and yes sir, thank you very much. Okay, conclude.
Okay. Thank you, Jiten sir. And let me tell you that the credit goes to you as well, because you also had been one of the reasons why we have been able to arrange this kind of thing. And if all, I would like to tell all the attendees that if you have seen the poster of this particular expert session program, you could have seen the galaxy of experts, you know, and the efforts that are made are by both sir. So we are really thankful to him, because it is due to his efforts and his contacts that we have been able to manage such authorities. These are all authorities and they are real experts. The experts from IFLU, experts from Pune, and such people are going to share ideas with us. They are going to converse with us. They are going to deliver whatever is best in the field. And that is why we, all those are present in this gathering, all are very fortunate. And I think this is going to be a real academic feast for all of us. So without wasting much time, now I would like to invite today's expert, Ms. Sneha Bajaj, to take charge of this session.
Thank you so
Welcome.
much, sir. Let's start formally. Good afternoon
Sneha,
to all the stalwarts. Yeah,
may,
am I
may
audible?
Yes, may I stop you for a while, because we
Yeah,
would
sure.
like to introduce you first. So I request Doria sir to give a brief
Sure.
introduction. Thank you. Doria sir, please.
Thank you, Manoj sir. Sneha Bajaj ma'am, Madam has more than 14 years of teaching experience in this field of English, English language teaching. And as a lecturer of English, she has worked in so many colleges, particularly in Anand Mercantile College of Science and Computer Technology, Anand, for 4 years, and in SCS Kothari Academy for Women at Chennai for 3 years. And she has worked as an assistant professor at Bangalore Institute of Music and Arts, Whitefield, Bangalore for 5 years. And apart from that, Madam has worked as head of the Department of English for UG and PG at Krupanidhi Degree College, Bangalore for 2 years. And Madam has also worked as a master trainer of English communication skills for Frankfurt Institution of Air Hostess Training at Bangalore. And let me tell you, friends, that Madam is qualified in KSET, Karnataka State Eligibility Test, in English in 2014. Currently, Madam is working as an assistant professor at GSFC University. She teaches English communication skills to engineering BBA and BSc students. Madam, on behalf of HM Patel Institute, I welcome you here, and I hope your session will be very, very beneficial for the students of B.Ed, especially this for this English pedagogy subject. Madam, the session is yours now.
Thank you so much for that. I just get it. It was quite elaborate one, actually. The people got... Yes. Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for the introduction. I guess the students have actually just thought that, okay, ma'am is like, like a nomad, and she has just gone here and there and all that, worked in Anand and Vadodara and Chennai and Bangalore and so many places. So I guess it's not scary to the students. Okay, let me start formally. Good afternoon to all the stalwarts of the language present here, all the experts. Special thanks to Dr. Bose, Dr. Doria, Dr. Mona sir, and Dr. Parman sir for making me the opening batsman of the session. Okay, so this is going to be the biggest responsibility for me to just deliver the session, and that is the first session. So keep you engaged in the session. It's going to be a little more tough. I'll try my level best to just keep you engaged. But I guess we have lots of other people here, not only from the HM, but also from other schools and colleges. So I need one favor from all the students, that whenever it is needed, you are going to be the participant in the activities or the task, whatever is is given here. Okay, so I guess you can see my presentation right now.
Yes, ma'am. It is visible.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, ma'am.
Let's start with the puzzle. It's fine. It's fine. Let's start with the puzzle. Okay. So guys, can you see actually a picture on your screen?
No.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
guess you can see. Okay. There are 3 hidden words in this picture. Can you just help me finding out those 3 names, those 3 words which is hidden in the picture?
Garden. GARDEN.
Wonderful, wonderful. Very good.
Farm.
Next word. Farm. Yes. Very good. Wonderful. Very nice. I must say that, okay, it is mesmerizing to get this kind of, participation.
Bloom, ma'am.
Okay, one more.
Third one.
One more.
Bloom.
Yeah, somebody
Bloom.
says bloom. Yes, wonderful, fantastic job. Wonderful, wonderful. Let's go ahead and just see this. Now, in this picture, there are 6 words. Now you have to tell me which are those 6 words.
Page, madam.
Page, yes. Okay, on the sleeves of the boy. Wonderful.
Or.
Anyone else?
Or.
O-R. Okay,
Story.
it is a part of the other words. Okay, this is a story, but we can say that it is also one of the word. Yes. So you can
What?
actually just count it as another word. Story. Yes, very nice. Another one?
Novel.
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 Novel. Somebody said words also in between.
Words,
correct?
words.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. Very nice, very nice. Novel also. Okay, so
Read.
which one is that now? Book. Yes,
Read.
wonderful. On the specs of the man. Okay, and the last
Read.
one.
Read.
Read. Fantastic, fantastic. You are such a good audience, exactly. Appreciate one, one applause for yourself. Seriously, wonderful job. Okay, so exactly what did we learn from these puzzles? Did we learn something? Do you think we have learned something? The people who have
Observation
answered,
skills.
wonderful, wonderful,
focus.
yes, great. Yes, to concentrate, to focus, to observe. Okay, so what is exactly this? Yes, wonderful, very nice. To interpret, to identify, to categorize. Okay, so exactly what it is, this is the learning through the task. And this is what the constructivism is about. And this is what we are going to learn today. Okay, so if you just go to see the word constructivism, it just goes little more higher, and it actually shows that, okay, oh God, this is going to be very tough. But actually, it is not the tough thing. It is the easiest theory of, learning. If you can understand this, how to manage this and how to actually deal with this, this is the one concept which can make you the stalwart of the language. Yes. So we started with the games, and what did it taught us is, it taught us that we learn something even through the task, even through the simplest task of a puzzle. Okay, it's just a small game, and that game also teaches us something. So what did we learn from this is, learning is a continuous process, and it is going on from decades and decades, from centuries and centuries, and all the human evolutions which has been there here right now till now, it is only the result of this learning. So if the learning stops, the evolution stops. Okay, but learning will never stop. because we are a human being, and human being is always a curious entity. I will not use the word animal, okay, but I will use the word actually entity. Okay, the human being is always a very curious, like, kind of a person, and like, it's always, thinking about something which is not possible. What is possible for us, we are doing it, and we are actually, like, thinking about it, okay, but what we cannot do, we are thinking more about it. Somebody says we can't go to the moon, we thought about it, we went to the moon. Okay, someone says we can't talk to somebody else who's far from the region, and then there was Graham Bell searching for the, like, telephone, and then actually telephone became the smartphone became the, like, internet related smartphone, and this is how we are talking to each other right now. Correct? So human evolution is exactly the continuous process, and that is the process of the learning. So from the time of the Aristotle, actually from the time of the Plato, but the Aristotle has given actually the theory, the okay, I guess, my presentation has gone. Okay, let me just start presenting once more. Okay, I guess now you can see my presentation.
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I thought I got a call in between, so it just went off. Okay, so Aristotle has given us the, like, the view of the impressive view. What exactly is the impressive view? He believed that, the knowledge derives from the sensory impression. Now, what do you mean by sensory impressions? When you touch something, you feel something. You feel that the thing is, the object is soft, or object is hard, object is rough, or object is very nice silky object or something, correct? So it gives you a kind of experience. When you see something, you can identify something. When you touch, you can identify. You can taste, you can identify. These are the sensory expressions. So all the sensory impressions gives you the experience, okay, a kind of experience, and Aristotle said it the empiricist. Okay, and this actually has given the formation of the framework for the theory of the behaviorism. Okay, and I think you all must be knowing about little bit of behaviorism, correct? Plato, in the other sense, actually said that knowledge derives from the reason. So knowledge is a logical one, according to him. So this is a kind of pragmatic skill. So what he said is, the knowledge is a rationalism. Okay, and this kind of rationalist views gave the framework to the cognitivism in late 1950s. But what about the constructivism? Is it the same, or is it a little different? Yeah, this is the point. It is exactly not the different one. Not very novel concept. It used to be there, but it has been recognized more with the work of Piaget, Berner, and Woodman, who formed the basis of this constructivism. So let's see exactly what is the constructivism is all about. Learning occurs as the learners are actively involved in the process of meaning and knowledge constructions. Now, as we see something, we identify the object. Come on, like, for example, if you see this, you can identify what is this? This is the key, correct? If you see this, you can identify what is exactly this? This is the mobile phone, correct? Why do we identify this? How can we identify this? You had a previous knowledge about this. What is it? Everyone has seen the mobile phone, and that's why when I show you this, that what is this? Immediately you can connect to the dictionary in your cognitive mind that, okay, yes, this is something which I know, and this is what? Yes, this is the mobile phone. Correct? Or when I showed you the key, you immediately went back to your dictionary, went back to your, your mind's dictionary, and found out, yeah, this is what I know. I know my mom is using, I am using, and this, and then finally you came out that this is the key. Okay, so this is how the meaning is processing in our cognitive mind. Okay, so for that, first, what you have to do is you have to actively involve yourself from the basic things. That, okay, if I'm telling you to see something, you have to involve yourself and see the things. When I tell you to listen something, you have to actively involve and listen something. This is the basic things. Okay, and if I tell you to involve in any kind of activities, you will involve. If I ask you any kind of question, you will give me the answer. When I asked you any kind of riddle and the puzzle, what we did it in the first task, okay, that is like, you have involved yourself, observed it, focus it, synthesizes whatever the data you can see on the screen and categorized it. And finally, you have given me the response and the feedback. That is the knowledge construction. So your active involvement in digging out the knowledge, okay, this is the constructivism. Okay, so this is the simplest form. I can tell you something, that you are being active in some of the task or some of the activity and getting involved in the activity, in the process of the activity, and during those process and even at the end of the process, you get some kind of learning, or you get some kind of results, or you get some kind of observations. This is called knowledge construction by constructivism. So this is the simplest definition I can give you. In other words, people construct their own knowledge by experiencing things and then by reflecting those experiences. Now, this is something which you need to understand, guys. How do you experience the things? Okay, so that comes the first experience. In a life, you would have actually heard someone telling something. Okay, let's take the first example of greetings. When you enter into the class, you greet your teachers, that good morning. Where did you learn from? Do you have any ideas? Can anyone answer me? Where did you learn this from?
Surroundings.
Yes, perfectly. Very, very good. So the environment around it. And when did you first greeted your teacher? Any idea? Do you remember also? I mean, how old you were? I guess quite old, and you don't even remember that. And that happened in the play group or KG group, correct? When you went for the school for the first time and somebody has told you, greet your teacher, tell your teacher good morning. And when you see the other people around actually doing the same thing, and then you started picking it up. Okay, so this is what the constructivism does to us. Unknowingly, it gives us the experience that we pick it up and we imbibe in our personality. And right now, what we are doing, we are forming a sentences, we are actually greeting each other, we are complimenting each other, or we are actually talking to each other, or we are discussing even the concept of constructivism. Okay, what is this? This is the experience we had very previously. And those experience slowly, when we started using that concept, became more thickened, and it actually became more strong belief. And that has become the belief that has become more stronger and stronger, slowly has become theorem. And that theorem actually is now you are going to learn as an ism. Okay, so whatever we are doing actually, and whatever we have seen with our experience, we now reflect it. So, okay, for example, you are going to, Japan, and over there everybody uses a kind of two sticks, okay, to use the thing, and we use a spoon and forks here, okay. And most of the regional thing we use even the hands to eat our dal chawal and whatever we have it, okay. So this is the cultural difference. When you go to Japan, okay, would you be able to use that sticks immediately? No. But you will see the people using it. Then you will see if it is like, the formal kind of meeting, then all the people are using it. That means if I'm alone using the spoon or fork, or I'm alone using the hands, I'll be out of the thing. And then slowly you will start using, you'll start learning how to use it. Okay. And then one day you will become an expert and you will come back here and show your experience from there to here. What is this? This is the constructivism. That you went into another group, you experienced something new, and then you are reflecting those experiences to somewhere else. Okay, and this is the concept. Okay? This approach believes that the people construct their own knowledge on the basis of the observation, understanding, and experience. Remember the puzzle I showed you, the first thing. Okay, the first thing, and starting the presentations with the puzzle, I guess only the mad person like me who does it. Okay, so what did you do it? You did the observation, then you try to understand what I'm going to tell you, what am I expecting from you, what I'm asking you to do it, correct? And then you will remember that, okay, yeah, sometimes in my school days, or sometimes in my primary school days, I was reading a kind of child magazines, and there this kind of picture puzzles used to be there, and I did it, and that time I did it, and your experience of those childhood experience actually brought you here, and then now you observed it, understood it, categorize it, synthesize the data exactly, and you give me the response. Okay, so this is the approach we are going to talk about. This is the approach, is the constructivist approach. Okay, so in this approach, what exactly we do is the students are engaged in some activities to gain the knowledge rather than gaining the knowledge passively. Okay, but I'm using the blending method. I'm also giving you the passive knowledge through the PPT, but I'm also involving you in some kind of activities or some task, or I'm asking you few questions in between and you are giving me the answers. So this is what actually we are learning the constructivism through the approach of the constructivism. Okay, let's see the scientific definitions of the constructivism. Okay, according to the Brader, Raj, and the Johns, constructivism can be defined as the idea that development of the understanding that requires the learner's active engagement in meaning taking. See, remember, the whole emphasis is on active engagement of the learner. Okay, so this is what you're supposed to do it. Okay, he also said further that while constructivism takes on different theoretical meanings with different theorists and contexts, the overarching concept hinges itself upon the nature of knowledge and the active role of the learner. So whatever theory you're believing in, whatever theory or concept you are learning, or whatever the context you are in, okay, everywhere, or every isms or every theories you can utilize with, along with the constructivism. But only the focus supposed to be the nature of the knowing and the active role of the learners. So remember these two words, active role of the learner, and whatever the context is there, you supposed to learn. Okay, so according to this Kolonic, what he says about the definition of the constructivism is construction of the knowledge leads to the authentic authorship and ownership. The knowledge becomes the part of the learner and the learner emerges empowered. Yes. Now, what does it mean? Now, you have to understand the meaning of authorship and ownership. What do you mean by authorship and ownership? If I'm showing you the car key, does it mean I'm the owner of the car? No. I would have borrowed from somebody to show you. Correct? It does not mean that I am the author of the car. What it shows? The documentation exactly shows the authorship. Correct? What is exactly the ownership? The ownership is the same. Okay? When exactly the person wants to say that this thing, this object or this subject or this concept of the theory or this knowledge belongs to me, okay, this is the ownership. And that is the reason whenever we take part in any kind of group discussion or even in the debate, and when we express our opinion, we normally tell that in my opinion, correct? So this is what we exactly show the stamp of our ownership, that this is my opinion. And it does not mean that everyone should be having the same opinion, correct? So when a person has any kind of knowledge, it becomes his own. It becomes his own theory. It becomes his own opinion. It becomes his own way. And whenever or whatever he wants to use, or how much ever knowledge he wants to use, he can use it. Okay. But when he does it, the knowledge becomes the part of a personality. Yes. And this is what exactly you have to learn. Whatever you learn through the tasks, through the activities, through, being involved in the learning process, whatever you learn, it is the part of your personality now. So now you have become the owner of that knowledge. See, whatever I am actually telling you right now, but if you understood the real concept of become of that knowledge. Okay, and then that knowledge will empower you, take you to the success, take you to the progress. You can actually just show off to somebody else, or you can utilize the same knowledge to teach other children, other students. And this is how the knowledge empowers. Okay. Since the learning is an active process of the knowledge construction, the learning environment is also very important. Yes. And who creates this learning environment in your class? Obviously the teacher, correct? Am I right? So sometimes have you felt that, okay, you're very comfortable with some subject and you're not very comfortable with particular subject. What does it mean? It means that you have not involved yourself in that particular subject. Okay. And the subject which you like, you have involved yourself. Okay, so that's why you know the process, you know the outcome, you know the observations, and that is how you know the thing. But creating the environment in the class is the task of a teacher. So here the teacher is also responsible to create and to imbibe the constructivism in the classroom, especially in the language classroom. Knowledge is not seen as a commodity. Yes, in the constructivism, we don't see knowledge as an object, as a concrete thing or as a commodity, okay, which normally actually being transferred from one expert to the learners. Okay, like for example, if I think that this knowledge, what I'm telling you right now is my commodity, is my thing, and I'm giving you my thing, so keep it safe. Don't give it to anybody else. Correct? No, it is not like that. You can't treat the knowledge as a commodity. In constructivism, you're supposed to share. You're supposed to actually give it to everyone. You're supposed to actually involve everyone, every learner who is there in the classroom, to just get the perfect base of the knowledge. Okay, so it is viewed as a construct. Construct means a kind of a notice, or it's a kind of concept. Okay, so you can actually take it as a concept that must be built together by active mental involvement. Yes, the sense of being together, being in the group, being in the team, okay, is very, very important. Okay, and your active mental involvement. See, I'm emphasizing on the word active involvement. Okay, not only of the learner, but also, active involvement of a person and all the senses of a person. Okay, the teachers here are not exactly the teachers. Okay, they are the guide to support the construction of the knowledge, and not the sage who stands on the stage sits on one place or something and gives a kind of a, enlightenment kind of lessons. No. Okay, we do that. We teachers like to do that sometimes, that involve ourselves and we keep on giving the advice to the students and all that. But actually in the constructivism, the teacher is only a kind of a monitor who just monitors the task, who guides what to do, how to do it. But the things are being done by the learners in all the team activities and the group activities. So it is not a one-way instructions. Both the parties' involvement is must here. This is the compulsion. Okay, so the learners also supposed to be involved, and even the teacher is supposed to be involved here. And the teacher is not supposed to only give the kind of lectures we normally give it to. Okay, yeah, the learners learns while contributing, and at the same time teachers also learn through the process. Okay, so it's a win-win situation from both the sides. So if we are teaching you and we are seeing you, we are giving you any kind of activities, some of the activities or some of the concept we may not know, and you are coming up with some kind of things. So we can think that, okay, oh yeah, next time we can involve in something like this. Oh yes, this is a good opinion. We can actually just think like this way also. Okay, or we can actually take your feedback after the sessions and and then we can identify that whether it was useful, what we can actually just do it, what we can improve. Okay, so all these things is the win-win situation from both the sides. So learner is always learning from the teacher, yes, but even the teachers are learning from the learners here. Okay, now tell me one thing. Okay, let's get back to our task. Okay, what do you think about this picture? Is it funny?
Yes, ma'am. Funny.
Yes. And what does it say? Do you have any kind of thoughts looking at the picture? What exactly you think first when you look at this picture?
That the person who is staring at the statue, he is he is thinking that what is he looking at, or how is he made, how is it created.
Very
And
nice.
if we look at the we give it a second chance of seeing the seeing the same picture, then we feel these both are staring at each other.
Yes, true.
Yeah,
Very nice.
that
Anyone
is
else
what
wants to say something? Yeah, very nice. Very good. Very good. I appreciate the answer. Okay. Anyone else who can just write out something? Do, yeah, please, please.
Statue is look like a real man, and I mean the expression of the statue. So maybe this person watching that it is real or not
Yes.
from showing his eyes.
Yes, he's astonished. He's actually surprised that is he me? Okay, because the hairstyle is the same, the look is also same, even almost the make of the shoulder and everything, the heights and almost everything is the same. So he's really surprised, correct? Very nice, very nice. Let me show you some another picture. Now, what does this picture tell you? What do you actually get the thoughts, when you see this picture?
these two birds are gossiping on something.
Wonderful. Gossiping. Yes. See, I never would have thought about it. Okay, so good actually. See, I learned something from you. This is what the constructivism is about. Okay,
May I try,
great.
ma'am?
Please, please. I want everyone to try.
The bird who is with open mouth, maybe she's saying to someone, the other one, that it's mine. You should not come here. Go away from here.
Wow. So he's actually checking that person out that, okay, yo, this is mine. Okay, great. Anyone else wants to say something?
Another thought, ma'am. Maybe the bird with the beak open, she or he is trying to say that this water is already polluted. Don't try to drink it. She is trying to make the other bird shoo away.
Yeah, maybe. Yes, very nice. See some of the views which I never even thought of that it is coming to me, Now look at this picture. Now tell me, I want some boys to answer this picture because this is related to the boys. I'm sorry, girls. It's not exactly like, the gender bias, but, I did not hear anything from the boys. So that's why actually I'm encouraging them by telling this. Anyone who can try this out? The boys can go back to their childhood and remember something like this incident where you sat with your father.
Ma'am, may I?
Yeah, please,
May I?
please.
Actually, ma'am, young boys are always means we can say they are obsessed with something. If the things don't go in their favor, so they they will be very sad and they will not talk to anyone. At that
Yes,
time, father will come and he will try to means motivate him. He will try to means convince him by taking him for a
Wonderful.
walk, by taking him for this kind of places, so that he can enjoy and he can forget that thing whatever happens at home or whatever else.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Very nice. So this is what actually this is the psychological concept that, okay, when you cannot, cope up with something and you're sitting there alone and who will come to you actually, obviously the father, okay? And the father and the son is sitting like this and they are sharing some very serious talk, okay? For him, it is very, very serious, correct? Okay, great. Anyone else wants to say something?
May I, ma'am?
Please, please.
The man is advising his son that do not do anything that make your mom angry, because I have seen her anger. So don't do anything.
I guess you have not got this advice from your father. But wonderful. I guess, every father says this to the son once in a while. Once in a lifetime, this sentence has been passed on from the father to the son. Am I right, all the boys? Very nice, very nice. See the concept, what we are getting it. Okay, anyone else who wants to try it out something?
Ma'am, may I?
Please, please. Yeah, please, please.
Like women, we always say no that men will be men. We have this common statement while discussing about it. In the same way, even males will be having the similar kind of concept that women will remain. You will
Women will
never be
always
able
be
to understand. So maybe that kind of conversation will start.
True. Mesmerizing. This was the awesome answer. Okay. Yes, definitely. So we can come out with another advertisement, the women will be women and will always remain a woman. Great. Wonderful concept. Wonderful. Shall we go ahead with one more? Okay. Yes. What is this? No one wants to say?
Ma'am,
Yes, please.
in this pandemic time, we cannot meet the people physically, right? So we just meet the people with the help of the social media and the technology. So this picture is saying that only,
Perfectly.
meet the people with the technology.
Perfectly. Awesome. This is what we are doing right now, correct? I'm meeting you through the virtual platform and you are meeting me through the virtual platform and we are actually shaking our hands actually virtually and working together and trying to get something. Okay, so this is also kind of a constructivism. See, wonderful things, See, all these picture actually showed us, a kind of the theory which I never know. So I got to know so many things. See, the new concept of the women is women will always remain women has come out with this, and the father and the son relationship, or even the bird can gossip. So the new concept has come out. So not only the learners, all of you learned, but even I have learned from you something. And this is what the constructivism is about. This is what exactly the theory is all about. Now we are going to actually just the main contributors of the constructivism. So who are exactly the one who has contributed the one? So two people who are exactly contributed to the constructivism at the core. Okay, the first one is Jean Piaget. Okay, he developed the cognitive constructive theory. What do you mean by cognitive? As I told you, cognitive is regarding the logicality. Okay, so it's a constructivist theory, but it is logically created. It is not, haphazardly created. It is not created randomly. Okay, it is, logically created. So what did he do is he actually just identified few activities, few, things what we can do in the group. And then, he did that experiment and came out with constructivist theory. Okay. He also identified the mental organizations called schemas. Now, this is important one. Okay, that learners used to present the word and designated actions. Now, this is something which you have to understand what exactly the schemas are. Okay, see, for example, when I want to just say come in the class, and I'm doing this action. Can you see my actions? And I'm seeing this actions. So if you cannot hear my thing, my actions will tell you that come in, correct? So when I say come in and I'm giving the actions of coming in, it is in the collaboration, correct? It shows the same thing, correct? This is called schemas. Okay, so for example, like, you know exactly what the signal means, that come in. Okay, when I say this namaste, okay, so this namaste meaning, okay, so you know exactly what does this designated action means. So I'm greeting someone, okay, so this is namaste. Okay, so everything has a designated action. Like, for example, I start thinking, I stop talking and I start thinking, my eyebrows goes little up and the face becomes a little serious, and you can identify from my facial expression that I'm thinking something, and I'm thinking something serious, but I'm thinking something funny. Okay, so you can identify from my facial expressions, and these are the designated action which is directly in the connection with the word is called schemas. The majority of the students have little problem in understanding this word schemas. That's why I'm giving you the most basic examples. Okay, yeah, he believed that there is a biological drive to obtain balance between the schemas and environment. So wherever environment you are, whichever the social environment you are, your schema will exactly, have the balance. So for example, we say namaste like this, but Japanese people or the Korean people, they bow down and they greet the people, correct? US and UK people, they normally even shake hands. Okay, so every schemas differs from environment to environment. Okay, so hence what he wants to say is establishing the balance between the primary motivations of knowing the language and one's mental structure can affect the learning. Okay, and then he described two processes. One is the assimilation and the second one is accommodation. Okay, and both of these processes we use from the birth of a child. Okay, so from the time we got the life, we are using this kind of thing. We kept on adopting some kind of behaviorism. We kept on doing something what the other people are doing. We kept on assimilating something which has been done by others. Okay, so when we see somebody greeting the teacher when they enter into the class, good morning ma'am, everyone will start actually following the same, and everyone will adopt the same thing, and then good morning ma'am, good morning ma'am, good morning ma'am, correct? And everyone will say goodbye. One person will say bye ma'am, so everyone will say bye 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 bye. Okay, so this is adaptations. So every smallest thing we adopt in the life and learn. How did you learn your first language? By copying, by adopting what the other person has done. And you start actually speaking this bilabial words in a phonology, we call it pa, ba, and ma. Okay, and that's why we normally in the literature actually we women actually just say that the mother is the best word. Okay, because every word, like every child starts the language with the word ma. Okay, mama. Okay, so like in every language, most of the language, the word mother starts with ma. Mama, mummy, mama, amma, mata. Okay, so is the thing. Okay, so everything we do is with these two processes, assimilation and accommodation. Now he identified 4 cognitive developmental stages. Okay, the first stage is from the birth to the 2 years, we develop all the sensory motor development. What is sensory motor development? Sensory motor development is walking, jumping, skipping around, hopping around. Okay, so that is actually, the motor thing. So first, when we are, as a totally infant, we cannot even move our hands and legs, but we cannot actually turn around. Slowly, we learn to how to turn around, then we sit, then we crawl, and then we start walking. So all this is motor development. Okay, from the years from 2 to 7 years, we normally get ourselves prepared for the operational development we are going to do in the world. Okay, so that means from 2 years to 7 years, we start learning something which is related to our adulthood. So we start writing, we start reading, we start using the language, we start forming the sentences, we start learning the new vocabularies. Okay, so all these things happens in a pre-operational developmental stage. Then 7 to 11 years is a creative development. If you have seen that, from the primary school, the craft and the things, the happening, the art and craft classes are more into the secondary schools. From where you are into the secondary things, from you are second standard to the 6th standard, you will have more of the craft and more of the art sessions. Why? Because that is the time your creativity is at the peak, and you are ready to get that kind of development in your personality. And then 11-year onwards, whatever you do is the formal operational developmental theory. Okay. The second person who contributed to the constructivism is Lev Vygotsky. Okay, so Vygotsky, exactly, Vygotsky, in Russian we call it Vygotsky, and in Indian and US English we call it Vygotsky. So there are 2 pronunciations, whatever is comfortable to you, you can pick it up. Okay, so he developed the social developmental theory. Now, again, when we are talking about the social developmental theory, means you remember that, we have learned in our ESS that, the man is the social entity. Again, I will not use the word animal. We have learned that the man is a social animal. I hate using, the word animal, because I don't like to be call myself as an animal. So I don't want to use it for anyone else. So, I will tell that, okay, man is a social entity. And when the man is social entity, he is surrounded by the society, he's surrounded by the people. And, obviously the company matters. Okay. This theory is one of the key foundation of the constructivism. Yes, because we are surrounded by people, we have to involve the people to learn some kind of knowledge. Okay, this is the base. Okay, asserted 3 major themes. He exactly told 3 major themes. Okay, so Vygotsky actually just said, the first theme, what he said is the social interaction plays a fundamental role. Now, what do you mean by social interactions? Okay, let me just remind you one thing. If you have remembered, or you would have read about some freedom fighting of the India and all that. You would have heard about the punishment of Kala Pani. Have you heard?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
In the literature also lots of mention of the Kala Pani is there. Why they used to send off the person to the Kala Pani? Why it
Because
was
when you
breaking? Yeah. Yes, tell me, beta.
sorry, ma'am.
No, it's okay,
Actually,
bacha. Tell me.
because actually it's human tendency that when we cannot see someone to and when we cannot interact with someone, it's really hurt us. It's really terrible for us, and that is the become really irritating for the person. So that's why they just send for person to that place.
Awesome, awesome, very nice, very good answer. This is what I was actually telling you. This is the best example I can give you to just make you understand the social interactions. See what happens is during that time there was no internet, there was no mobile phone. If there is an internet and mobile phone, that being in a lockdown is easy. It's fine. You can still connect with your friends, your family members. But imagine there is no mobile phone, there is no internet. Okay, there is nobody around. You are the alone person. How long you can talk to yourself? How long you can talk to the waves? How long you can talk to the walls? How long you can talk to the stones and the pebbles there? One day you will go mad. And this is what was breaking the mind of a person. And the person used to say that, you better, you kill me. I'm okay with it, but don't make me go alone there for the Kalapani. So that was the highest level of the punishment actually. But now if we have to go, we are happily going. You just tell me that, okay, give me the data and give me the, my mobile phone, and I'm happy to go around. Okay, that is not the case actually that time, correct? So what exactly we mean to I mean to say here is the social interactions is must. We have to do some kind of social interactions, and from the beginning, from the beginning of the day, I think our generations would be doing this. We normally rub the palm and okay, the palm, and we say Karagre Vasate Lakshmi, Karamule Saraswati, and all those kind of things. But in your generation, you pick it up immediately. Just get up, open your eyes, just pick up the mobile phone and scroll it down. What is there in Insta? What is there in the Twitter? What is there in WhatsApp? Is there something, some news or something, correct? But what is that? Everything is communication. Okay. So it is a verbal communication or non-verbal communication. We are totally dependent on the social conversation, social interactions. So this is the fundamental, base of learning the language, because we learn with the society. And every function in the child's cultural development appears twice. First on the social level and later on the individual level. Yes, now this is little difficult to understand. Let me give you one example. Okay, if you have two children, in your house, how many of you have two, you are two brothers or two sisters, or one brother and one sister?
Ma'am,
Okay,
I
so you are
have
the elder. Thank you, very nice, very nice. So are you the elder one or the younger one?
I am the elder one.
Okay, so when you supposed to go for the school, when your mother's supposed to put you to the schools, and the first day of the school would be horrible, correct? You must be really hesitant to go. Your mother would have told you some kind of stories.
Yes, ma'am, totally.
Hai na?
Agree.
It was very difficult to leave mom, leave the person who cares for you so much, and worried to go to something unknown, somewhere really unknown place. Okay, but who is the second child here? Anyone who's the second child? No one is the second child here?
Yes, madam, I'm.
Okay, so for you, was it too tough? Was it too
Sorry,
tough
ma'am.
to go to the school? For you, was it too tough to go to the school? You would
No,
have
ma'am.
seen your Hannah, you would have seen your brother or your sister. Do you have your brother or sister, elder sister or elder brother?
Yes, yes, madam. I have a brother, elder brother.
Okay. Yes, very nice. Thank you so much for involving yourself, dear. Okay, so see, when your elder brother was going to the school and coming back, and you are very young, okay, you might be thinking that, okay, where is he going? Where is he coming back? And he looks happy. He's involving himself in some other activities and all that. He is writing with a pen. So with before going to the school, you have the curiosity that what is he writing with the pen? You also start writing with a pen. You also start writing with the crayons, drawing with the crayons, painting and all that. That means, you have an example in front of you. And you
Yes,
see
madam.
that going to the school is not very tough job, correct? It is
Yes,
not
madam.
something very scary. And that is the reason for the second child, it is not very tough to go to the school. They happily go. But for the first child to go there, it is very difficult. So this is what I mean by, that appears first, socially, and later it goes on the individual level. So if a small child sees somebody else in the family going, so the elder brother or elder sister going to the school, okay, and coming back happily, and he's getting ready, he's doing with something seriously, something really amazing thing, with the gadgets what he has, it compass box and pencils and erasers and sharpeners. And so the other party, the other boy who is younger, who has not gone to the school, already started leaving the school inside. Okay, and then so that is what actually the social level he has seen the school. And then when he goes to the school, it is his individual experience of the school. Okay, so he will not bother to know about it. So when you see somebody doing something, you will not bother to go about it. But when no one does it, and when you have to do something new, there is a fear of unknown. Okay, so this is what actually Vygotsky says with this particular concept. The second concept he has come out with is the more knowledgeable others. Yes, he has given the concept of the more knowledgeable others. You remember the concept of the guru? We actually celebrate Guru Purnima and we call our teachers guru, correct? In our Indian ancient mythology, the guru was, given the highest respect. And it has been told also in the Kabir and all the literature, Guru Gobind dono khade kako lagu pai. Balihari Guru Dev ki jisne Govind diyo batai, correct? So we normally just, give due respect to the gurus. Why? What is that concept? This is the same concept, the more knowledgeable others. Because we know that the guru has more knowledge than us, has more depth of the concept than us. He knows more about that domain, what we are going to learn. Okay, so here what he has given the concept is not exactly the guru. Like normally what we do is we call the gurus to someone who is elder than us, than age, or the senior than our post or something like that. But here what he says that anybody can be your guru. Anyone can be your more knowledgeable others. Okay, for example, somebody who's sitting in your classmate, but he knows something. He knows how to make a fridge spinner, okay, or how to make a bonsai tree, okay, and he is teaching you. Okay, that means he knows more about that particular domain, and he is teaching you. So he is the one who is more knowledgeable other. Okay, so he is the MKO of the class. So here what he says that, the same concept of the guru, but you have to remember that there is no restriction of the age, there is no restriction of the post, there is no restriction of the seniority. Here you have to only remember that if the person has more knowledge about that particular knowledge, about that particular concept, or about that particular experience, or has more depth in that particular domain, then that person is the more knowledgeable other. And the third one he has given the concept is the zone of proximal development. Okay, ZPD we call it. Okay, so what he says that when you are working in the group and you are being instructed by the teacher, and you are doing something whatever has been instructed by the teacher, and whatever has been told by your team leader, or what your peers are doing, you are also doing the same thing. From there you start learning, and then there is a moment you never know that you start taking your own decisions. The transition from that particular thing, following the instruction of the teacher, and then trying to do everything yourself, trying to solve all your problems yourself, is the transition. And there should be a balance, and that exactly the transition, the distance between being instructed, working in the team, and now being independent and learning independently how to solve your answers, or your queries, or your questions. Okay, that distance is called the zone of proximal development. And this zone exactly gives you a kind of a theory of the constructivism. Okay. Yes, let's go through the principles of the constructivism. Sir, I have 5 more minutes, can I carry on? Or do you want me to stop here? Okay, I guess I'll carry on, and within 5 minutes, I'll just try to wind it up. Okay, so principles of the constructivism is the knowledge is constructed. If the knowledge is constructed, it is constructed on the other knowledge. For example, A for apple. So when you see, the KG students, the nursery rhymes, that kind of books, the apple is always red and nice. Okay. And they show the picture. So they actually show that this A belongs to apple, and the word apple comes from A, starts from A spellings, and it also gives another knowledge. Okay, that apple supposed to look like this. This is the picture. Okay, so knowledge is built upon the other knowledge. And the second concept, second principle is the people learn to learn as they learn. Learning involves the constructions. So when we are telling that A for apple and apple is red, I'll give you one very hilarious example of my family. That okay, my daughter is just like 5.5 years now. When I was teaching her, okay, before sending her to the nursery, A for apple and all that, I just got her the book, and the book was showing that apple, and apple was red, nice apple. But one day, that time I was in Bangalore, and one day I got the, green apple, and I told her this is apple, and she was not ready to accept it. She said, no, apple's supposed to be red. Because the concept in her mind is she learned through learning the spelling that apple supposed to be red, juicy, nice, delicious. Okay, so she was not ready to accept the green apple. Okay, so this is the concept. Now the knowledge was built on that particular area, that apple supposed to be like this image, and that image, whenever she used to see, she used to connect that yes, this is the apple. But when she saw the another variety of the apple, it was difficult for a learner to understand that. Okay. Third one is learning is an active process. Obviously, you're supposed to open up all your sensories. You're supposed to open up with all your team members. You have to be active. Okay, so the learning is the active process. Learning is a social activity, obviously, and that's why we call it the company matters. All your granny and grandma at the place would be telling you where are you going? Who all are your friends? Where are they coming from? Why they were doing this? Because, wherever you are, you're learning from them. So you're learning from the other people around you. You're learning from your teachers. You're learning from your family. You're learning from your peers. You're learning from your classmates. Nowadays you're learning from all the OTTs and all the serials and all the, tweets and memes, what you're getting from the thing, right? Next one is learning is contextual. Yes, whatever the context you are in, you are, you don't learn the isolated one, So we are learning the constructivism, but constructivism explaining without the language, is it possible? Without the vocabulary, is it possible? Without a task, is it possible? Without, even the internet, it is possible, or without, going into the meeting, it is possible. So I should learn even how to just get into the meeting, how to present myself, how to talk to the others, how to explain myself, how to explain my concept in the words, correct? So it is contextual. The another principle is knowledge is personal. As we say that once you learn the knowledge, it is imbibed and it is your possessiveness. So it is your personal affair, whatever you learn. And the motivation is the key to the learning. Yes, the students supposed to motivate each other. The teacher supposed to motivate to the students, and everyone. The teacher also supposed to motivate with other teachers and other students also. There are 3 types of the constructivism. One is the cognitive, the other one is social, and the third one is radical. Okay, let's just go through very briskly. Okay, cognitive is regarding the logic. So it says that, this is the logical constructivism. Social constructivism is you learn from the society, by the side of the society, for the society, and to the society. And radical is totally, new concept. That is something which everything you learn, it is your concept, but it is not a reality. The reality from your side is different. The reality from the other side is different. So it is more pragmatic sense. Okay. So how do we just do this? The key areas of the classroom, constructive classroom is 4. One is shared knowledge between teachers and the students. The second one is shared authority between teachers and the students. Teacher is not only the authoritative person. Even the students who are involved in the task also become the authority. Teachers act as a guide or facilitator only, not as, a person who keeps on doing blah, blah, blah. Okay, like us. Okay, and learning groups consist of the small number of the students. Okay, what are the implications? The classroom learning actually just makes the environmental more supportive. Since the constructivism is emphasized on the dialogues, having the environment of the classroom which supports more dialogue is important. The knowledge is not imparted or the transferred, but knowledge is constructed, okay, being built. Okay, so the teacher should not expect the consistency. Here, this is something very important. Students' perspective also should be considered. It is more important here, in fact. Teachers should ask throughout, the process of the knowledge imparting very thoughtful questions so that students can think even after the sessions. The teacher then provides the resources to solve those questions. So once you have to create the curiosity and then you have to provide the resources so that the students themselves go and find out the knowledge. Okay. Learning environment should be created. Critical thinking and abstract thinking should be encouraged. Yes. Faith on the learner's capacity is supposed to be the most important base. I should believe that you can do it. Okay. Support learner-centered or the task-based curriculum. And what are the activities we can involve in the classroom, for the constructivist approach is experimentations, what we do through the research paper and research work and those kind of thing. Big projects we can give to the, groups or the individual projects where they can go to the society, meet to the people, learn with the survey, learn with the questionnaire and come out with some kind of observations. Field trips, where they will go together, learn something together and come back and share their knowledge. Group discussion, obviously they share their discussions. Okay, quiz, role plays, debates, case studies, everything is the activities which we can involve, to just make this constructivism, more powerful to give, the learning to the students. Okay, so what is exactly the gist? You're supposed to actively involve in the classroom. The second thing is, you're supposed to do the task and activities which actually is very thoughtful to the people and, teach them or, learn while, just activity, while just playing. So learn through play. Okay, so this is as a constructivism approach. So I hope I have just done this justice. This is all from my side, over to you, sir.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. I hope that all the students must have understood everything because you have really dealt with the subject so lucidly and with practical examples, and
thank you,
it was so interactive. So I thank you very much from the core of my heart for making so difficult subjects so easy for the students and explain it very nicely. There have been some students in the class who have been interactive and they talk to you very nicely. Let me mention some of them: Maitri Vaidya, Neha Deshia, Vivek Mishra, and a few more, I think. Students, when you talk to your teacher, the class becomes interactive, and that is really very much necessary. In the coming classes, I think all other students will also be active, just like Maitri and Nisha, Neha, and Vivek. So once again, thank you, Sneha ma'am. Not only for the students, but for us also, it was very informative and we enjoyed your session. On behalf of IQAC of H.M. Patel Institute of English Training and Research, I thank you very much. And thank you all the students who are present over here, all the teacher trainees, all the faculty members. I think I can notice so many professors also present over here. I'm not going to mention all the names, but I thank you, all of you. Thank you very much. And let us meet again tomorrow. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Have a nice time.